Welcome in, everybody, to College Baseball Tonight. I am Jim Cross. I'm joined by my best friend, the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel Ball. Dude, in Knoxville, let me tell you, plugging our sponsors, I get to the tailgate, Chinook seeds everywhere, Daniel. And then, of course, I had to bring them a bottle of Old Dominic. We got the vodka today. Last time I was with the Tennessee Dads, we brought the bourbon. These dads have been so impressed by the product. Me and you are, that's one thing, but we want the people to know that it is the best in the game. Whiskey, vodka, bourbon, gin, and then, of course, Chinook seeds, 8 flavors, mild to wild, the best in the game, Daniel. We couldn't have better sponsors. But that being said, guess what, man? SEC play started. And when I think about SEC play, Daniel.
What we doing live? Echoes in eternity.
Bro, I mean, hype me up. We have all these matchups. We did our pick 'em. Me and you we got some right, we got some wrong. We're kind of all over the place. But let's start with the one we didn't pick because we knew there was no need.
Field on first. And a drive into the right field corner. It is hooking. It is a fair ball. One Tiger scores. A pair of Tigers scores. Here comes the third Tiger. And no throw. A 3-run blast. We'll see whether they call it a...
Daniel, I ask you, Garrett Curriell, is he right now the SEC Freshman of the Year?
In my book, yeah. And he is on my Survivor team. Late acquisition in the game, but he's definitely paying off dividends. He's looking good, man. I mean, outside of him and Jake Brown, it was a Kate Anderson show,
11 Ks, but speaking of pitchers, speaking of guys on your Survivor team, you got another guy on your Survivor team. I do think he's the best closer in baseball. Talk about Nate Snead.
Yesterday Nate comes in a position where that's the guy you go to, and whether you want to argue it or not, or second guess it or not, you put Tanner Franklin in, and then you go Dylan Loy, and then you come with Nate Snead, and you could have just went to Nate Snead. And there's a couple of reasons why you do, why you don't. But either way, Nate comes in and dominates. I mean, he does exactly what you would expect a national championship closer to do.
Yes,
he comes. And you see it there is everybody's appreciative. They knew what was at stake. They knew what was on the line, and so did Nate. Comes in, slams the door, gets them in a position where they can take home a victory.
I mean, Daniel, did it not feel kind of like, at least for me in the stadium, it kind of reminded me of the Florida State game, not in the sense they were trailing in the Florida State game, but once he came in, it was a tight game, it's a little nerve-wracking, but when he came in, you felt like it was over. And he never struggled at any point.
No, not at all.
But, one last thing I got on the Florida series. We got Ray out there on the Gator today. But in case people forgot.
Least favorite SEC fan base. Florida. Florida sucks.
Never gets old, brother. It never gets old.
An oldie but goodie. You're right. Never, ever gets old. You got to appreciate it.
We're talking SEC. Daniel, I got to know, what's happening with the ACC Elite?
Well, we went back and forth on Louisville and North Carolina. Obviously, you go with the Cards, I go with the Tar Heels, and they end up splitting yesterday. They split, Louisville taking game 1, North Carolina taking game 2. 2 very close games, 2 very competitive games. Game 1, 8-7 Louisville. It's kind of a back and forth type deal. And this is exactly what you're looking for when you're looking at the ACC. It's guys that are scrappy, that are going to make it hard. It's going to be a rock fight. You're going to have to outscore them in the very end, and you're going to have to pitch well and be deep enough, but also get timely hits. And you saw it yesterday. They did exactly what they needed to do. And Louisville does what they needed to do, and North Carolina does what they needed to do, setting up a really, really good opportunity for them.
Yeah, I think this rubber match is gonna be electric. And we talk about who we know and finding out information. And it's one thing for us to have Tucker Bobbin on here and talk about how good Louisville's gonna be. But Coach Bobby, man, there's nobody we respect more. In more than 30 years, all these ACC teams were being talked about before the season. Louisville was not. He said Louisville is going to be a top 4 team in the ACC. Be on the lookout. Here they are. People are not really – I believe they only have 2 losses in the season. They looked really good in the Classic with multiple top 25 wins to open the season. and then here they are splitting so far with North Carolina. I think Louisville is a team that people just are underselling, not appreciating. And today, Daniel, obviously one way or the other, win or lose, I think it's going to be close, and I think people are going to have to put respect on Louisville.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Is it by design, or is it just because Louisville has been so good in basketball over the past few years, and so was North Carolina, maybe not so much this year, but is it any surprise to you that Sunday, Selection Sunday, they don't have a game? Like they did that right.
I mean, yeah, I dig it. And honestly, that was the whole tough deal with this weekend and next weekend. But how about for Tennessee? They had it work in their favor. They had the baseball game moved, and so they're able to see the basketball game now for the SEC tournament. So I don't know, Daniel. They say it's weather. It is raining outside, but maybe all these games, whether we're talking about ACC, SEC, it's being moved so they can watch college basketball. I ain't mad at them.
Hey, neither am I. I mean, they definitely know that, winning matters, and every little opportunity you get to watch your school win, that's huge.
Well, for Arkansas and Ole Miss, their basketball teams went home this week in the SEC tournament, but an elite baseball matchup. I told you, I really felt good about Ole Miss. We've talked about Hunter Elliott. He's a two-time guest in the show. He comes out and shows up, but what I'm really excited about, we've talked about a lot of freshmen, but Hayden Federico, who's coming up next week on the show, looks nothing like a freshman. And Daniel, when we talk about first pitch of the game,
to lead things off, and Federico launches this to left. Davalon's back, track, it's gone.
Daniel, I ask you, man, you played in this game a long time, you coached in this game a long time. When the first pitch you take yard, what does that do for the team?
I mean, that's like, we better wake up because these guys came to play. Hey, by the way, that ball, when you get home, it's probably sitting in your yard. So make sure you give that back to him when you see him.
I love it, man. As somebody who picked Ole Miss, when I see that out the gate, and then you got Hunter Elliott on the bump, who he gave up a couple runs yesterday, but man, a lot of hard-fought ABs and ultimately got through that Arkansas lineup. I will have to tip my cap though. I did a post, and for people who think I hate Arkansas so much, Kahia Aloy, is that how you say it? Anyway, that dude can flat out hit. He had 0-2, Daniel. Hunter tried to put it on the outside, make him chase. He did. He pushes it right over the first baseman's head, down the line. And then his next AB, he puts it off the wall and left. He can put it all over the yard. He is a professional hitter.
Yeah, he's about the only guy that really gave Hunter Elliott, a tough time yesterday. But obviously, game 2 today. It's a new series, and if Ole Miss wants to be where they need to be, this is one that they can take, and they don't want to let Arkansas, steal it from them. So they're
I
at home.
expect them to be better today. Arkansas had some uncharacteristic mistakes. It's one thing to not pitch well, it's not hit well, but they had some mistakes in the field. So I don't think it'll be as easy today for Ole Miss. But this is the one I picked Arkansas to get. I obviously would love for Ole Miss to sweep just because you know how I am. But I actually thought that Ole Miss was going to give away game 2, take game 3 because I really like Mason Nichols on the mound. But we will see.
Yeah, when it comes to, just the Mississippi teams, Mississippi State is a team that both of us picked to take the series over Texas. However, Texas
3-2. That ball shot to left and way out of here, and Texas on a 3-run home run by Casey Borba takes an 8-5 lead.
Yeah, Casey Borba, they have a big 7th inning, and Texas takes down Mississippi State. Jim, going into the dude beating Mississippi State, Texas is a good baseball team, but this is one that Mississippi State, I think, could take. But what do they have to do now to switch gears and take 2 in a row?
I mean, it was scary for me because I thought in this series one of the keys was you definitely had the pitching advantage with Pico Khan. And so for the bullpen to give that up and not hang on to that victory, because they were winning for the first 6 innings, it looked good. They ended up being 5 runs they gave up in that 7th in total. So you asked what I need to do. I know that Mississippi State can hit, but I need to see that bullpen, because the starters can get you 5-6 good innings in Mississippi State. I definitely feel like you can get quality starts, but you're going to have to be able to hang on in that back end. And Texas has shown that they can absolutely hit off anybody. Going back, we talk about that opening weekend. Remember, they run ruled Ole Miss. Riley Maddox, they absolutely teed off on him. So we know Texas can hit. So that bullpen has got to not make mistakes, got to be sharp. I'd like to see Mississippi State try to jump all over them like they did yesterday, but that's a huge win. Like you said, going into Duty Noble, that was one. If there was any reason I was picking Mississippi State, it was because they were at home. They always protect the house. So huge for Texas. And I will say this, for as far as grow the game, I'm not a big Twitter guy, but one of the best accounts there is Occupy LF, which is the biggest Texas baseball fan you will find. And he came to the dude. They fed him. He posted, said it was the best hospitality he's ever gotten. I've told you how them boys out in left field take care of you. Of course, they gave him amazing food. Of course, they had an amazing time. That's truly growing the game. That's what it's about, Daniel. It's not about, the rivalry to the point of we want to fight each other. We hate each other. We can't hang out together. No, man, it's about enjoying the game, having some drinks, having some food, enjoying the game of baseball.
Yeah, definitely want to grow the game as often as you can. That's how we have such longevity, and that's how, baseball becomes an everyday item that people talk about and want to be a part of.
Yeah, so, let's talk Auburn-Vandy. We both picked Auburn, and then we heard Ike Irish was going to be out, and so we took Vandy. And, Daniel, we made a huge mistake because Auburn was never in doubt yesterday.
The 0-2 pitch to the Vanderbilt third baseman is on the way. Got him swinging. 3 strikeouts for Carson Myers.
Myers comes in and absolutely slams the door, striking out the side. Auburn is legit. We obviously have them ranked in the top 25. We needed to see another game. They had the big Oregon State victory, but what else could they show us? And this was a big one.
Yeah, so real quick. All blue, all navy uniforms. What do you think about those for Auburn?
I like them. No different than we like the blacks, we like the grays, we like the powder blues. There's only a few select colors where it doesn't look good, but I dig those, and I happen to know my good friend Wayne, who's an Auburn fan, loves those.
Yeah, staying with the SEC, Oklahoma takes one from South Carolina. They go into Founders Park, and it was just a struggle all day long for South Carolina to really get some momentum going. Ethan Petrie doesn't have the day that he does. He draws a walk in the ninth, gives them some runners on, have a chance, but they just couldn't overcome what Oklahoma brought.
Gets Stone. Another strikeout for Witherspoon.
The strength of Oklahoma is that pitching staff, and it's the reason why people need to start to believe, but they're putting up runs with it. Daniel, if there's any two teams, we're going to get to Bama in a second, but man, I really did not give Oklahoma and Bama enough credit coming season. Everybody else, we pretty much said they were going to do what they do, but I think the problem is, Daniel, it's hard to say I believe in like 13 out of 16 SEC teams. Somebody's got to not be good, right? But apparently not.
You could go 500 in SEC play and still considered one of the best teams. It's just that competitive.
And I think that goes to what we said. You have to take care of the home field because you're going to have so many rough series on the road with elite teams week after week. It's important, and don't get swept. And I know it's easy to say these things, but I think it's the key. But let's take a break, go to the ACC. Daniel, I don't care what anybody says. I told you, you just brought up Ethan Petrie. We were talking about Merrick Houston the other day. He said, dude's putting up video game numbers. Honestly, the dude may be the best player in college baseball. I don't care that he plays at Wake Forest and in the ACC. Last year, they had 3 top 10 picks. This year, it looks to have 2 top 10. But this is like what I imagine when I think of his parents.
To say to your mother, this kid's going to be the best kid in the world. This kid's going to be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching every day. It was like a privilege.
I feel like it's a privilege for us to be able to watch this dude play baseball. Every night, I feel like there's a clip, and it's not just offense, man. The kid has a glove. He's a terror on the bases. He's just an all-around 5-tool guy. Check this out. So shout out Merrick Houston. Just, man, keep doing what you do, kid.
Absolutely. We talked about A&M, and we talked into great depth on what they needed to do, and we thought this was a series that they could take and they were going to bounce back, but clearly it doesn't look like that's the case. Bama goes in and takes care of them, and it didn't even seem like it was that big of a hill for them to climb.
Yeah, no doubt. They get into the extra innings, and they left little doubt there.
Breaking ball's clobbered. High, deep left field. Brennan Norton says goodbye. Go-ahead home run in the 9th inning by Brennan Norton. And it's Alabama 5, Texas A&M 4. First pitch swinging, another deep drive. High, this time to right field, and Cade Snell goes yard.
Daniel, you were a relief pitcher. You saw the look on his face. Man, he knew he threw the wrong pitch to the wrong location.
It takes me back. You never forget what that feels like. It's always something that's always ingrained in you when you know who the hitter is and you know where you need to locate and you don't locate, and that's the result. So, very tough. Very tough.
Oh, well, live to fight another day, come back and be better the next one. Don't make the same mistakes. But, man, let me tell you something, Daniel. When we talk about guests of the day, this guy, we talk about hard work, perseverance. Parker Bird, which, let me put these shades on for a second. He sent me these. It's even got scripture on the inside, his favorite verse. These glasses are too good for me. I don't deserve glasses like this. But Parker Bird has worked his tail off. And last year, the story was, Daniel, that he was the first ever, person who had an amputated leg playing in D1 baseball. But it was kind of a feel-good story then, Daniel, in the sense of he wasn't actually playing. He got an opportunity. But back-to-back weeks, not only is he playing, but he's thriving. Check this out. This kid is an absolute inspiration to everyone. It doesn't matter what sport. It's not just baseball. It doesn't even matter if it is sports. He could have, I've told you, if I was in his position, man, I don't know that I'd be able to get up off the mat because I would be so mad that happened to me. But that's not how this kid's built. First of all, he's strong in his faith, but he put in the work. It takes work. And look at him now getting the opportunity. I love it, man. I can't wait to, Daniel, we got like a home run clip coming soon. The kid's getting the barrel on the ball. At some point, man, we're going to see him jog around the bases, and it's going to be epic.
It's going to be magical. Just like you said, inspirational. It makes you feel blessed every day that you get up, and it really humbles you in a sense that what you think are problems clearly are not problems. But with that, let's do a little rapid fire and finish up around college baseball. Georgia over Kentucky, 12-6. Kentucky, good baseball team, maybe a little underrated, but Georgia coming in, doing what they got to do, taking care of business. Florida State over Boston College, 8-2. No surprise there. Arnold on the mound, getting the win. I mean, doing what he does.
I think they're just going to cruising, the next couple of weeks until we know what they can do. We got a while before they meet somebody and have a big matchup, but I'm not in any doubt about Florida State.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I think Boston College is going to be they're going to be good, I believe, and this isn't an indication of how good or bad their season's going to go. It's just they're playing a really good team, the best team in the ACC. Virginia sliding consistently, and it looks like they're probably, if they don't do something, they're going to find themselves lower and lower. They lose to Cal 6-2. And then the Horned Frogs hang on against Arizona State. Really good game, really good night game. Capping it off, 3-2 win for the Horned Frogs out there, man. Just a great Friday of baseball. Looking forward to an even better Saturday, man.
No doubt. Well, the last thing I got before I let you put a bow on this thing, big time games, big time situations. We talk about officials, umpires, no matter what the sport, getting it right. And we talk about baseball, the replay, making sure you get it right. In a tight game like you had with Florida and Tennessee, you want to make sure that the call is correct. And in that moment, Rivero January, the umpire at second base, got the moment. They replayed it on SEC Network. He got it right in real time, but they confirmed it with the replay.
This game, the call on the field was.
He starts online, but his entire body's left Hoover.
It's a monster call in this game. The call on the field was.
He starts online, but his entire body's left.
Navarro got a standing ovation from the crowd. That clip doesn't even really show it because he finished and said something else, and they did. But Daniel, for those who don't understand it, you watch it and just understand the wording. He obstructed outside the base path. So when you see him slide to the left, he is not giving the infielder an opportunity to step and make the throw. Therefore, it's an automatic out. So people can say they think he may have got it wrong or they don't understand the rule. It's very simple, man. You have to give the player an opportunity to step out and make that throw. You have to slide into the bag. You can't slide to the side of it.
The big thing is it's silly base running on Florida's part.
They're not immediately.
Yeah, you're not getting the runner. You're not getting the hitter at first. You're just not. So go ahead and give yourself up and, call it a day. JJ makes the right call in real time, and they go to the footage and confirms it. And it's probably good for the umpire crew because Tony V was getting a little hot before that and things were a little testy. So it was probably good to kind of bring it down a little bit. But let's get out of here. We're looking forward to another great Saturday of college baseball action. We'll be back tonight to recap and bring you everything that you might have missed, or maybe you've seen it. But for Jim, I'm DB. This is the Man Off the Bench podcast, College Baseball Tonight show. We'll see y'all tomorrow. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.